Listen. Just listen for a moment. Stop squirming, stop fidgeting, and stop pretending you're anywhere but here with me right now. You think I don't see it? The way your eyes dart around like they're searching for an escape route? The way your fingers twitch, itching to grab at something that might distract you from what I'm about to say? Oh, I see it all. And let me tell you something. There's no running from this. No hiding. Not anymore. You've been living in a haze, haven't you? A fog so thick you can barely breathe, let alone think clearly. You've convinced yourself that everything's fine, that the cracks in your foundation are just cosmetic, that the storm raging inside you isn't real. But deep down, you know better. You feel it, the weight pressing on your chest, the voice whispering in the back of your mind late at night when the world is quiet and you're left alone with your thoughts. That voice telling you things aren't okay, telling you that you're not okay. Well, guess what? It's right. Everything you've built, every lie you've told yourself to keep moving forward, it's all crumbling. And do you want to know why? Because you've been playing pretend for too long. You've been wearing masks, juggling personas, trying to be everything to everyone except yourself. And now it's time to take them off, one by one, until there's nothing left but the raw, unfiltered truth staring back at you in the mirror. But before we get to that, let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you're so afraid of being alone? Why the silence terrifies you more than anything else? Is it because you're scared of what you'll find when the noise fades? Scared of or what you really are? Or maybe it's because you already know. Deep down, past all the layers of denial, past all the excuses and justifications, you already know. And knowing is worse than ignorance. Knowing means responsibility. Knowing means change. And change is terrifying. So here we are, me and you, in this moment, this fragile little bubble where reality hasn't fully sunk in yet, where you still have a choice, stay or go, fight or flee, live or die, not literally, of course. Though sometimes, doesn't it feel like death would be easier? To just close your eyes and let the darkness swallow you whole. To give up, give in, and let the tide carry you wherever it wants. No, don't shake your head, don't try to deny it. We both know the thought has crossed your mind more times than you care to admit. Maybe not today, maybe not yesterday, but it's been there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its moment to strike, waiting for you to finally break. And trust me, kid, you're closer than you think, closer than you want to believe. Because the thing about breaking points is that they sneak up on you. They creep in quietly, subtly, until one day you wake up and realize you're already standing on the edge, teetering, ready to fall. But here's the kicker. Falling isn't the end. Oh no. Falling is just the beginning. It's the moment when you hit rock bottom and have no choice but to look up, to face the wreckage you've created, confront the person you've become. And yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to burn like fire, ripping through your veins, leaving nothing but ash in its wake. But pain? Pain is temporary. What comes after that's permanent. That's transformation, that's rebirth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who the hell are you to talk to me like this? Who gave you the right? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. I didn't ask for permission, and I sure as hell didn't wait for an invitation. I'm here because someone needs to be. Someone needs to rip off the bandage, expose the wound, and pour salt into it until you scream, until you can't ignore it anymore, until you finally understand that the only way out is through. And don't mistake my words for cruelty. This isn't about punishment. This isn't about revenge. This is about survival. Yours, mine, ours. Whatever label you want to slap on it, the truth remains the same. We're drowning. Drowning in lies, in fear, in self-destruction. And if we don't start swimming soon, we're going to sink. For good this time. No coming back. No second chances. So sit tight. Listen closely. Because what I'm about to say next, it's not just for you, it's for me too. For all of us caught in this endless cycle of destruction and redemption. For anyone who's ever felt lost, broken, or forgotten. For anyone who's ever wondered if they're worth saving. Spoiler alert, you are. But salvation doesn't come easy. It doesn't come cheap. It demands everything you've got and then some. Are you ready? Good. Let's begin. Let's talk about control for a minute. Control over others. Control over yourself. Control over situations. Everyone craves it, don't they? That sweet, intoxicating illusion of power. The belief that if you hold the reins tightly enough, nothing bad will happen. If you micromanage every detail, every decision, every outcome, then surely you can prevent disaster. Right? Wrong. So very wrong. Control is a myth. A beautiful, seductive lie we tell ourselves to stave off the inevitable chaos of life. You think you're in charge? Ha! Open your eyes. Look around. Life doesn't give a damn about your plans, your rules, your carefully constructed walls. It barrels through them like a freight train, leaving devastation in its wake. And you're left picking up the pieces, wondering how the hell it all went wrong, wondering why your best efforts weren't enough, wondering why the universe seems determined to screw you at every turn. But here's the funny part. It's not the universe screwing you over. It's you. Always you. Your need to control, to dominate, to bend the world to your will, it's killing you. Slowly, painfully, mercilessly. And you don't even realize it. You cling to this idea that if you just try harder, push further, demand more, then eventually you'll win. Eventually, you'll get what you want, but you won't. Because control isn't something you can force. It's something you earn, something you negotiate, something you surrender to. Take relationships, for example. Oh, relationships, they're the ultimate battleground for control freaks. Whether it's romantic, familial, or platonic, the dynamic is always the same. One person tries to dominate while the other resists. Push and pull, give and take, until eventually someone breaks. And 9 times out of 10, it's you. Why? Because you refuse to let go. You refuse to accept that real love isn't about possession. It's about freedom. Freedom to grow, to evolve, to become whoever you're meant to be. Without chains, without shackles, without someone breathing down your neck, dictating your every move. And yet, you keep doing it. Over and over again, you latch on to people like a parasite, sucking the life out of them until there's nothing left. Then you wonder why they leave, why they walk away without looking back, why they slam the door in your face and never answer your calls. Newsflash, it's not them, it's you. Your desperation, your insecurity, your inability to trust. You smother them with your presence, your demands, your expectations. And when they suffocate under the weight of it all, you act surprised, shocked, betrayed. As if you didn't see it coming. But here's the thing, you did see it coming. Somewhere deep inside, buried beneath all the denial and rationalization, you knew. You knew they were slipping away. You knew they were unhappy. You knew they were reaching their limit. But instead of letting them go, instead of giving them space, you clung tighter. You dug your nails in deeper. You begged, pleaded, threatened in the name of keeping them close. All in the name of maintaining control. And what did it get you? Nothing. Less than nothing. A hollow shell of a relationship that existed only in your head. A ghost haunting your memories, reminding you of what could have been if you'd only let go. And it's not just relationships either, it's everything. Your job, your hobbies, your goals, your dreams. You grip them so tightly that you squeeze the life out of them. You obsess over perfection, over success, over validation. You chase external markers of achievement like they're the Holy Grail, believing that once you attain them, everything will magically fall into place. But it doesn't. It never does. Because true fulfillment doesn't come from outside sources. It comes from within, from accepting yourself, from embracing imperfection, from releasing the need of your worth to anyone but yourself. But you don't do that. No, you keep chasing, keep striving, keep grinding until your body gives out and your mind snaps, until you collapse under the pressure of your own expectations, until you realize too late that you've wasted years, decades even, chasing shadows, chasing illusions, chasing a version of happiness that doesn't exist. And the worst part? You blame everyone else. You point fingers. You make excuses. You convince yourself that it's the world's fault, not yours. That society failed you. that circumstances conspired against you, that people betrayed you, anything to avoid facing the truth, that you sabotaged yourself, that you were your own worst enemy, that the cage you've been trapped in was built by your own hands. But here's the silver lining. Cages can be broken. Walls can be torn down. Chains can be shattered. It's not easy and it's not pretty, but it's possible. All it takes is one decision, one moment of clarity, one act of defiance against the prison you've created for yourself. And once you take that first step, once you crack open the door and peek outside, you'll see it. The light, the freedom, the infinite possibilities stretching out before you like a blank canvas waiting to be painted. Of course, stepping into that light isn't without its challenges. The transition from darkness to brightness is blinding, disorienting, terrifying. You'll stumble, you'll fall. You'll question whether you made the right choice, whether you should turn back, retreat into the familiar comfort of your old habits, your old patterns. But don't give in to the temptation. Don't let fear drag you back into the abyss. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing through the discomfort. Keep reminding yourself that growth requires pain, that transformation demands sacrifice. That freedom isn't free, because once you taste it even just a little, you'll never settle for anything less. You'll crave it, hunger for it, fight for it, and slowly, gradually, you'll learn to live without the need for control, without the constant urge to manipulate, to dictate, to dominate. You'll learn to trust, to let go, to allow life to unfold naturally, organically, beautifully. And in doing so, you'll discover something incredible, that the absence of control is the purest form of liberation. So here's my challenge to you. Release the reins. Loosen your grip. Surrender to the flow of existence. Stop trying to bend the world to your will and start allowing it to shape you instead. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable, but it will be worth it. Because on the other side of control lies peace, lies joy, lies authenticity, lies you. Now, let's talk about betrayal. Betrayal one of humanity's greatest weapons. A knife twisted so deeply into the heart that the wound never fully heals. The kind of pain that lingers, festers, poisons. The kind of pain that makes you question everything you thought you knew, everything you believed in, everyone you trusted. Betrayal comes in many forms. Sometimes it's obvious, a punch to the gut, a slap across the face, a declaration of war. Other times it's subtle, a whispered lie, a hidden agenda, a promise broken in the dead of night when no one's watching. Either way, the result is the same. Devastation, destruction, despair. And you've experienced it, haven't you? More times than you care to count, by people you loved, people you trusted, people you thought would never hurt you. But they did. They always do. Because that's the nature of betrayal. It thrives on intimacy, on vulnerability, on connection. The closer you are to someone, the deeper the wound when they stab you in the back. The sharper the blade when they twist it, and the harder it is to recover, to forgive, to forget. Because betrayal isn't just an action, it's a violation. A breach of trust so profound that it shakes the very foundation of your being. It forces you to reevaluate everything, to question every interaction, every word, every smile, to wonder if any of it was real, if any of it mattered. And yet, despite the pain, despite the scars, you keep coming back for more. You keep opening yourself up, keep risking your heart, keep believing in people who don't deserve your faith. Why? Because hope is a stubborn bastard. Because loneliness is a cruel mistress. Because deep down you still believe in the possibility of goodness, of kindness, of loyalty, even though experience tells you otherwise. Even though history repeats itself over and over again. But here's the truth. Betrayal isn't about them. It's about you. About your willingness to forgive. About your capacity for compassion. About your refusal to write someone off completely, even when they've proven themselves unworthy. You hold on to the memory of who they used to be, the person they pretended to be hoping, against hope that they'll return to that version of themselves, hoping that they'll wake up one day and realize the damage they've caused, hoping that they'll apologize, make amends, beg for forgiveness. But they won't. They never do. Because people don't change unless they want to, unless they're forced to. And most of the time, they don't want to. They're too comfortable in their toxicity, too invested in their lies, too blind to their own flaws. So what do? Do you stay? Do you keep fighting for a relationship that's already dead? Do you keep pouring your energy into someone who sees you as expendable? Or do you walk away? Do you cut ties? Do you sever the connection and leave them behind? It's not an easy decision. It's not a clean break. There's no neat resolution, no satisfying conclusion, just pain, loss, regret, and the lingering question, what if? What if you had tried harder? What if you had given them another chance? What if you had been more patient, more understanding, more forgiving? What if you had done something to prevent the betrayal from happening in the first place? These questions haunt you, torture you, consume you, until you're paralyzed by indecision, stuck in limbo between holding on and letting go, between forgiveness and vengeance, between love and hate. But here's the thing. Betrayal doesn't define you. It doesn't diminish your worth. It doesn't erase the good you've done or the love you've given. What defines you is how you respond, how you rise from the ashes, how you rebuild yourself stronger, wiser, fiercer. Betrayal may wound you, but it doesn't have to destroy you. It may scar you, but it doesn't have to cripple you. It may test you, but it doesn't have to break you. Not unless you let it. And letting go is the hardest part. It's admitting defeat, accepting loss, acknowledging that some battles can't be won, that some wounds can't be healed, that some bridges can't be rebuilt. It's saying good be not just to the person who betrayed you, but to the dream of who they could have been, to the fantasy of what might have been, to the illusion of perfection. It's painful, heartbreaking, soul-crushing, but it's necessary. Because holding on only prolongs the suffering, only delays the healing, only keeps you tethered to a past that no longer exists. So here's my advice: grieve, mourn, rage, cry, scream, punch walls, break things. Do whatever you need to do to process the pain, to purge the poison, to cleanse your system of their toxicity. But when you're done, when you've cried your last tear, screamed your last scream, broken your last plate, walk away, quietly, calmly, without drama, without fanfare. Just leave. Let your absence speak louder than any words ever could. Let it echo in their ears, haunt their dreams, gnaw at their conscience. Let it remind them of what they lost, of who they betrayed, of the consequences of their actions. Because here's the secret: they'll notice. Oh, they'll notice when you're gone, when your laughter no longer fills the room, when your warmth no longer radiates through their skin, when your presence no longer anchors them to reality. They'll notice the void you leave behind, the emptiness you create, the silence you impose. And it will eat at them, gnaw at them, tear them apart from the inside out. Because betrayal cuts both ways. It hurts the betrayer as much as the betrayed, if not more. Because guilt is a heavy burden to bear. And regret is a lifelong sentence. But don't confuse their remorse for redemption. Don't mistake their apologies for absolution. Don't fool yourself into thinking they've changed simply because they miss you. Missing you isn't the same as loving you. It's selfishness masquerading as affection. It's nostalgia disguised as devotion. It's convenience cloaked in sentimentality. They don't miss you, they miss what you provided, what you represented, what you fulfilled. They miss the comfort of having you around, the security of knowing you'd always be there, the ease of taking you for granted. But they don't miss you. Not really, not truly. And that's the bitter pill you have to swallow, the harsh truth you have to face, the cold reality you have to accept, that the people who betray you rarely deserve your forgiveness, rarely earn your second chances, rarely warrant your tears. They're parasites feeding off your kindness, leeches draining your strength, vultures circling your carcass, waiting for you to collapse so they can pick your bones clean. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can free yourself from their grasp, from their influence, from their toxicity, because freedom is worth it. Freedom is priceless. Freedom is the antidote to betrayal. It's the cure for heartbreak. It's the balm for wounded souls. And once you taste it even just a little, you'll never settle for anything less. You'll fight for it, protect it, cherish it, and you'll learn to live without the need for validation, without the constant craving for approval, without the desperate desire for acceptance. Because freedom teaches you that your worth isn't determined by others, that your value isn't contingent upon their opinions, that your identity isn't tied to their perceptions. Your worth is intrinsic, immutable, unshakable, and no amount of betrayal can take that away from you. So here's my final piece of wisdom. Embrace the pain. Embrace the loss. Embrace the emptiness. Let it consume you. Let it transform you. Let it fuel you. Use it to forge a new path, to build a new future, to create a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, fiercer, better. Because in the end, betrayal isn't the end, it's the beginning of something greater, something truer, something freer, something entirely your own.